Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of West Ham Fan TV's Post-Match Pint, the only West Ham United post-match full-match show on the internet. We've not just come back from anywhere. In fact, this isn't a post-match pint. This is post-match lemsip. Because I'm on the lemsip. It's, not good. But West Ham hasn't made my health any better, to be honest. And I say West Ham, I should say the refs. But we're going to get into it and give a little... breakdown of the game, mate. Do you know what, Scott? I can't complain too much about the performance. Unlucky with injuries yet again, and unlucky with decisions. But ultimately, I thought there was some positives to take out of that.
Oh, mate, listen. The thing is, right? There was a lot of positives to take. You know, when you look at it, we've still got quite a depleted squad. You know, with the injuries we've got, it was a massive, massive boost having Bowen back. But then, you know, we get him back and we lose Paquetá, Alvarez, you know, key players to the way we've been playing lately. You know, them two alone that I just mentioned there have had, you know, since Potter's come in, have completely changed. You know, been so much better on the ball and their performances and the levels that they've given. You know, so losing both of them, it was a massive blow, but. Yeah, you just got to look at the positives. That's all we can take for this. I know Chelsea were on a bad run, and when you look at it, you know, I think that's only their second win in 7 games, something like that.
Yeah,
you know, we was a little bit robbed. We deserve something out of that game overall, I think, anyway.
100%, mate. You look at it, how crap they are in front of goal. It took one goal that shouldn't have stood and a lucky deflection for them to beat us. Because honestly. They've been terrible in front of goal for a while now, and we was quite comfortable in terms of not having to worry about like Areola. He didn't have to do much in the game because they couldn't hit the target.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but the thing is, when what he did have to do, he done fine. It was a brilliant save from the Cole Palmer free kick. You know, that tip in that one, that was a brilliant save. Got fingertips to it, tips it over the bar. You know, and even with him under Potter, he seems to have a new lease of life, if you get what I mean. You know, it's so good to see that players are now stepping up to the plate. And the thing is, Dan, we've had a makeshift defence for the last 2 games. You know, and we've got to look at performance levels. You know, I've said to you before, you know, you look at Potter. Each game he's been here now, I think he's kept a clean sheet at least one half of each game.
Yeah.
You know, so he's halfway there getting where we want to be.
Yeah, there's improvements in the defence, considering, like you said, it is a makeshift. So, you know, we've got one actual centre-back in our back three, you know, with 2 aging fullbacks alongside him. And, you know, that lineup, it was interesting. You know, he's had to make the best of things. Me and you spoke on the phone earlier about Irving starting. Very interesting that he's ahead of Rodriguez, because Irving isn't really a defensive midfielder. Souček, I guess, is technically a defensive midfielder, but doesn't really play like one. So we didn't have any real proper defensive midfielder in the game. So he's gone with Irving over as Rodriguez. He doesn't seem to fancy Rodriguez.
No, this is the thing, you know, and I think that's quite telling. It'd be interesting to see whether there was any injuries or niggles to Rodriguez or any reason he's left out. But when you look at it on the whole, he doesn't seem to fancy him whatsoever. Because, okay, with the 5 at the back, you can sit there and say, do you really need an out-and-out holding midfielder? You know, as much as Alvarez is that holding midfielder, he does do a bit of box-to-box work. You know, Rodriguez is more your sit and hold and, you know, sit in that deep line midfield position and try and break up the play. So you could justify it in that sense that when you've got that 5 at the back, do you really need that? You know, but I think it tells a lot that he chose to start Irving over Rodriguez. I really...
And then he brings on Orford over Rodriguez.
Exactly. You know, and this is the thing. And I think gradually you'll see more of the youngsters more and more as the season progresses. You know, I think for the youngsters' point of view, I think if we can get in a position where we know we're sort of safe, you'll probably start seeing them bloodied a bit more and getting more game time. You know, because it's that situation where a push for a European place is a bit off the cards. You know, you want to finish as high up the league as possible, get things in motion, planning for next season. But so long as we're safe for that drop zone, mate, you know, it's a good opportunity for players like Orford and even getting Casey a run out now and again. especially
Yeah.
with the situation with the centre backs. It would have been good if we're in a position where we can give him some game time as well, with not as much pressure on us.
I would have liked to seen him over Soufal, to be honest. I think Soufal's struggled a little bit. I think he's sort of been the weak link in that back three for us. And I kind of see it again yesterday for their goal, which shouldn't have stood, of course.
Yeah.
But you look at it, I think, obviously we're skipping ahead, but as we're on the subject, the ball's bouncing around the box and it drops to Neto and he slots in near post. You got Areola near post, but then Soufal runs in. I think that it was Soufal, and it seems he sort of blocks Areola. He sort of impedes him a bit, impedes his vision, and he just sort of runs there. And neither of them, Areola can't really see it. And it goes through both of them near post, and it's just horrendous.
Yeah, the thing is, mate, when you look at the goal, there's only one defender to blame for that, and it's Emerson. He's completely switches off. He gets caught ball watching. Neto skips past him like he's not there and scores the goal. So, Emerson, for a player of his quality and his experience, to switch off in that moment, he's let his side down massively. Like you said, it was a foul. It was a foul in the build-up, but I agree with what Scott Minto was saying on the commentary. We had enough time to deal with the problem. We had enough time to reset. And I don't even think VAR looked at it because it was that many phases of play behind that they didn't have a look. They looked at every other reason to disallow the goal.
Well, it was offside as well. They've looked at it and they're saying, "Oh, it's not clear and obvious." But just look at the ball. Look at the trajectory of the ball. It doesn't change.
Yeah, but
you can see it goes straight past.
Yeah, but it's the new rules of the new rules, isn't it? To try and go with the on-field decision as best as many times as they can, and that's just, I think, what they've done. I don't think there was enough for them to overrule it.
It just makes VAR pointless. Go and let the ref have a look at it himself. Then, do you know what I mean? If it's not clear and obvious, let the ref see it, and the ref sees it properly. Because it is so tight. How is he in the speed of the game, the lino or the ref supposed to really catch that?
And that's it, mate. And that's the thing for me. I think it was very much hard to tell. Even when they slowed it down and freeze framed it was difficult to make a definitive decision to say it definitely touched his head.
Yeah. So, it's frustrating because, like you said, we deserve to get something from the game. I thought our goal, he made an instant impact. Oh, we made an instant impact. Bowen, he comes in, gets the goal, but it started again the press. Kudus. I think Kudus had a real tough game yesterday, but I think he has to take a lot of credit for that goal because it came. I think Colwell was crap. I thought he's crap for a while, but he puts him under pressure. He forces an error like we did it against Fulham, and that's what happens when you press. You can force those errors and you press from the front, and we did that. And Bowen takes advantage. Great finish. He taught their players how to finish.
Yeah, mate. And that's the thing. It was a big boost having him back in the side, and what a finish! If you watch it back, you don't even seem to hit it that hard, and it just flies past the keeper. That was a striker's finish. And that's the benefit of having him back. He worked hard last night. Sort of times he was feeding a little bit off scraps, but like you said, Kudus done really well to pressurise the defender. What he was complaining about, I don't know. He was still moaning after we'd finished celebrating. I just think he just got caught out. He got down out. Yeah, exactly. And he got done, and that's the thing. And even Chelsea fans, I worked with a few of them. They turned around and said that they don't get what he was complaining about. How good Bowen was, and how we didn't get named out that game was daylight robbery.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Like it was, I mean, Cole, he knows he's messed up there. He's not looked, he's panicking because Kudus is on his case, and he's thought, right, let me just pass it. He's not looked, and here comes Bowen, gets onto it, bang, first time. That classic Bowen goal. That and it just shows. If we had Paqueta, mate, I think we at least get a draw out of that game.
Like I said to you when we were talking earlier, probably if Paqueta was available, maybe Soler doesn't start out on the left, or possibly Irvine don't start.
Yeah. Possibly, to be fair, Irving had a decent game. I think as the game went on, he sort of
Mm.
struggled a bit in the later stages
Yeah.
of the game. But for that first half, particularly, I thought he done really well. He didn't put a foot wrong. And considering he hasn't had much game time either,
Mm.
so I've got to give him some credit for that. Apparently, there was all sorts of great chants sung for him. So fair play to him.
That's it, mate. He's the new cult hero, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. It's the David Martin. He's the David Martin.
Yeah, that's it. That's
But
it. But it was good.
yeah,
Look, the second goal we conceded was really unlucky as well. It's just one of them things. When Bissaka has to try and block it, and it just flicks off him. It was a cross
I
all
think
day long.
someone
There's
say
no way
it was a lazy leg from Wan-Bissaka, and I disagree. He slides to try and block it. He does his job. It's such a lucky for them, lucky deflection, and unlucky for us.
How many times have you been on here and we've been talking about games and things like that, and our old mate Graham always turns around and said it, put that ball into the corridor of uncertainty.
Yeah. Anything can happen.
Exactly. And what did Palmer do? Smashed it across the face of goal. It's the first defender, flies into the net. That's what it's all about. What we don't do enough of.
Yeah. That's it. Sometimes you've just got to get it in. That's what it really frustrated me about under Lopetegui. We just have to pass it all the time, waiting for that perfect moment. If Palmer waits for that perfect moment, opening to get it in, then that don't happen. Do you know what I mean?
No.
He's just passing it around the edge of the box for ages, and they don't score.
Yeah, exactly. And the good thing that for me that seeing under Potter as well is that there's times we try and play out from the back, but there's also times when we don't overdo it. Do you know what I mean? We're
I think the first half we overdid it a little bit too much. There were times I was screaming like, "Just kick it out, get it out!" And in the end, because after that goal, it came from a long ball from Areola. We started doing that a little bit more after we saw what we could get from that. Whereas earlier, we seemed to be just consistently playing out from the back under pressure, giving the ball away on the edge of our own box. And you just got to know when to do it and when not to do it. And we seem to improve.
Yeah, that's it. Under Lopetegui, we would have carried on doing it. But, we mixed it up a bit, and that's what we need to see. And at times, I think we were a little bit worried about the pace that Chelsea hold. As much as Jackson at the moment can't hit a barn door, he's still got that pace to get him behind. I thought Kilman done really well that one time when he did get away, to early in the first half to get back at him. And we sort of we didn't press as high as we can, but then, like you said, the goal comes from that bit of pressure, that bit of pressing, and it's just I think now we're sort of seeing when to press and when not to press, if you get what I mean. We're looking more together as a unit as well. You're not just getting one player going to press. And the big thing for me with this pressing game is Will Prowse coming back.
Because he was under Moyes one of our best pressers of the ball. Yeah,
and that's the thing, and the fact that he was happy. By all reports, Potter's happy to have him now. Add Ferguson to the mix as well. We could see ourselves push up the league a little bit. So long as people stay fit, we get players back. It's a massive blow with Somerville being out again for another 2 months. I was looking forward to seeing him coming back.
Yeah, because that first half against Villa in the Cup, he was unbelievable. On that right-hand side. And he was the player I was most excited to see come back. And now he could be out for a couple of months. And it's unlucky. He's a young lad, and so I hope it's not going to be one of those things where he has these persistent hamstring issues throughout his career. Do you know what I mean? Because I think he has got so much talent. And I think he would have thrived under Potter. Same with Fulkrug. I think Fulkrug would have thrived under Potter. And it's so unlucky. It really is. So you got to feel for Potter what he's come into,
And that's the thing, mate. It's as we said, we said all along, you can get beat, but it's the performances. It's how you get beat, And we're seeing improvements, little improvements, game by game. You're seeing little improvements, The individual errors, I know Mavropanos was back after suspension, but we didn't really see many individual errors yesterday. And that's something that was all over the team under Lopetegui. Now it seems to be, curbing it. Mavropanos still has a Mavropanos moment. But
he
we're
wanted
trying
to be the bloody hero when he come on. Fucking trying to score the winner twice. After the first time, you're like, nah, like you're a centre back, mate. Like you're taking these tame shots at goal, with no power. First the header, then the shot from outside the box, just rolling it towards the keeper. Give it to the people that can shoot. Find Bowen. Find someone more competent. You're a centre back, and that really frustrated me.
Yeah, that's it, and that's the annoying thing, mate. And I think it's that trying to overdo it to make amends for the mistakes that he makes. Do you know what I mean? He overcompensates sometimes, and
he really did. Like he was trying too hard yesterday, and someone said like their only complaint is the substitutions, and it was hard. It was hard. The thing is, they was making the substitutions right. They was getting the fresh legs on, and they got the crap players off. The Reece James, the Nicholas Jackson. So they had some fresh legs, but we didn't have really many options off the bench. I think Scholes for Emerson made sense. Emerson, I think, was on a booking. As time went on, I think it was good to get Scholes on. Walford, I don't think really pulled up any trees, but he's a young lad. It's minutes for him. It's important minutes for him. And then you got Guilherme. I feel for him because he's always coming on past the 85th minute and getting no time. And he looked all right when he come on, like Jeremy, for what he's got to do. And then Ings, he's bringing on a striker. What's he going to do? We're behind. He's bringing on a striker. He just didn't really get into the game. And then Mavropanos, that made sense. Mavropanos for Soufal. I know we all don't rate Mavropanos, but Soufal needed to come. We need freshening there. So, I don't think there was a problem with the substitutions. That's just what he had available personally. In my opinion.
And that's it, mate. Look, he tried to change things. He tried to get us back in the game. And I say get back in it. We were never out of the game. That's how I look at it. Even at points, Chelsea were probably a little bit more dominant possession-wise and things like that. But overall, we were in the game for the 90 minutes and we're competing. And this is the big difference. This is what we want to see. Every game, go out there, compete. If you get robbed by the referee or you get beat by the better side, it's just one of them things. There's nothing you can do about it. We can bitch and moan all we want about the referee, but it's not going to change the decision. It's just typical incompetence of the referees and VAR. And it's something that VAR was meant to bring in to stop, and it just carries on. So we've got to get past that. And as we said, mate, at the start, take the positives. Take the positives.
He was crap in the game, the ref. But like I said, it's at least we can complain about the ref and not just how terrible we were and how we got rolled over like the last time we played him at our ground. So that's a positive. Is that what we're seeing in these games? Apart from the Palace game, I thought was pretty full, but. With what we've had available, he's done good. Obviously, look, the window was the window. I think some fans are disappointed in the transfer window, but we've brought in. We've got in Ferguson, striker. We've brought Ward-Prowse back, and I think that's all we've done, really. And look, I'm not mad at it, particularly as long as we do good business as we spend in the summer.
Yeah,
that's what I'm really going to be scrutinising, that summer transfer window.
Yeah, the thing is, Dan, when you look at it. How many clubs actually went out there and done a lot of business? City. I think City were the big spenders. Villa done some business, but they made good money on Duran. So maybe if they hadn't have made that money, they wouldn't have done the business that they did.
Bournemouth signed the player we were trying to sign just because that's their sister club. They signed him for cheaper than we were offering. So what else can we do there? And then
that was ridiculous.
It's so dodgy, isn't it? I hate that.
But
they got away with it because they're not in Europe.
Yeah.
If there's in Europe, they wouldn't have been able to do it. But
the thing is, mate, is this is the whole idea of having these clubs in Europe that you sort of align yourself with is that you use each other when the opportunity arises. Bournemouth have done that. Unfortunately, we never did that. We just loaned the club up Andy Irvine.
That's the thing. But hopefully, like Ferguson having a proper striker, and I think he is an improvement on Ings. I think it would just fit more with what we're trying to do. So I am excited, and hopefully he can stay fit. Because we do seem to be having that problem. And it's just about trying to do as well as we can for the rest of the season, but it's all going to be about next season. Getting at some of the deadwood, bringing in players that suit the vision of Potter, which seems to be young players. He seems to be going for youth. He's at the under 18s tonight watching them. Someone said we've beat Man United on pens. He was at the game. he seems to be very much youth orientated,
Mm.
which is good because we've got an old squad and we need to bring that age
Mate, I
down.
still think we're the oldest in the Premier League.
Yeah.
You know, and that is a worry. You know, obviously Ferguson coming in brings that down a little bit, but it's not good to have an old squad. You know, you need to have a mixture. You know, you look at Chelsea. Chelsea are a very young squad, a lot of inexperience, but you need to have that right mix. And the problem is, unfortunately, we don't have that right mix at the moment. You know,
What's
but
your opinion, Scott, on Ferguson being a straight loan? It's got some controversy. Some people ain't happy because it's a straight loan, meaning we don't have the option or obligation, like to sign him at the end of the season. It's the ball's in Brighton's court.
Listen, it's the old-fashioned way of loaning a player. It used to happen all the time. At the end of the day, it's a short-term stopgap for us. It's a risk, you know, with his injury record and all that. And you know, maybe if the obligation was there, that the asking price would be a lot lower, and that's probably why Brighton didn't really want to put that in there, an obligation to buy. You know, look, at the end of the day, if he goes out and bangs in 10 goals for us between now and the end of the season, it benefits us, it benefits Brighton. It's a win-win for everybody. And that's how you got to look at it. Look, you know, at the end of the day, we are after other targets in the summer. Maybe he might be a target. Brighton still may let him go. We just don't know. But at the moment, we needed a focal point of our attack. Brighton had a player that we like the look of, we wanted to use. So it's win-win for everybody.
Yeah, like I said, you know, it's one in Brighton were never going to give us, you know, the stronger hand, give us the option to buy. They was never going to do that. It was either going to be sign him, pay for him, or it's a straight loan. And for us to spend 40 million or be obligated to spend 40 million at the end of the season for a player with his injury record, I think would have been very risky and a huge gamble that I don't think we need to take at this stage with the summer coming up and with the new recruitment and scouting and all of that we've brought in. So I'm completely fine with it as long as he comes in and helps us. Look, if he comes in and he's brilliant, he scores like a goal every game, he fires us up the table. Yeah, they're going to ask for crazy money, but oh well, you know, if we can't sign him, we can't sign him. He's got us up the table, and now we've got an opportunity in a strong hand in the summer. And go from. I'd rather have that than not sign anyone. You know, so
how you've got to look at it, mate. If it works out, he could be the difference between finishing in the top half and not finishing in the top half. That's how you got to look at it. You know, and now, as we said, I think Europe's out of reach, but a top half finish now is a must. You know, the inconsistency of teams in this league. If we can put a little run of games together, look, no game's easy in the Premier League. We know that. We've got some tough fixtures coming up. You know, okay, we've got this week off. Then we've got Brentford at home, tough game. Arsenal away, can't see us getting anything there. And then Leicester at home. You know, you've got to look at them two home games. Even though Brentford are a tough nut to crack, you've got to be looking at them two home fixtures. They're the ones. 6 points in.
Spurs beat them 2-0, so we've definitely got to be targeting that.
Exactly. You know, but that's how I look at it. You've got to be looking at them two games. Arsenal's a free hit because we don't really do well against Arsenal generally. No. You know, and they seem to be picking up a little bit now, so it could be a bad time to play them. But you know, as I said, the two home games, it's got to be 6 points for me. That's the key.
2 weeks off now for 2 weeks for the players to train under Potter. You know, understand more what he's trying to do.
Yeah,
get Keita back, get a step closer to maybe getting Todibo back. Alvarez be back. You know, so obviously we won't have Somerville. Ferguson will have a chance to bed in with the team. You know, so by the time we hit Brentford, and this is the thing why some people got the ump with me when I said it was a blessing in disguise when we went out of the FA Cup. And I always want to win the FA Cup. I always want to do well. But it would have been a step to, we was never going to win it this year. With the squad that we've got, I would rather not be in it at all than go 2 more rounds in it and deplete us more and then get knocked out. We're always going to have another chance at the FA Cup. We'll be back in it. Every year we're in the FA Cup. We're going it next year in a strong position. So as much as I wanted to beat Villa so bad, I'm taking the positives out of it in that now we get a chance to, you know, have less games to worry about and try and get this team up to speed with what Potter's trying to do, more time,
Yeah.
training, and I think that's going to be the positive we take out of it.
Yeah, and that's the thing, mate. At the end of the day, look, we all want to see West Ham do well in the cups. We all want to see West Ham win a trophy, but at the end of the day, it might be a blessing in disguise. The way the state the squad was in, or the state the squad is in, the injuries that we've got, like you said, having this 2-week break, hopefully will benefit us more than playing an FA Cup fixture.
Yeah.
It's like you said, the squad that we've got. I always fancy us to beat anyone when we're on our day, but I don't see that this season. I don't see us. It would have been one round, if not another round, then we would have got Liverpool or Arsenal or Man City, away from home, something stupid like that.
Just look at our bench, mate. Look at the bench.
Yeah.
And I see people go, people complaining about the bench, but I thought we wanted to give youth a chance. I believe that you should give youth a chance, but you shouldn't rely on youth. There's two different things. When you have to rely on youngsters and put the pressure on them that we need them to step up, I think that's a problem. But when you can, give youth minutes where you've still got, strong players and options, and you can bring on a Scholes and not be like, listen, mate, it's you or nothing, and you're going to have to do it for us every week. I think that's the problem. You want like a couple you don't want a bench full of youngsters. And that's what we kind of had, apart from a couple of players. We've had a lot of youngsters on the bench, so it's all about balance. Right now, we don't have that balance.
Yeah.
So hopefully, like I said, some of it was a big kick in the teeth, but
and the thing is, well, don't forget, we were that depleted. We had 2 goalkeepers on the bench.
Yeah, exactly.
And that says it all. 2 goalkeepers again on the bench. It's not what we want to see. We don't want to be seeing it. We saw that all the way through. I think at the European tours, we had 2 goalkeepers on the bench all the time.
I want the Big Sam days back when we had no goalkeepers on the bench. bring those days back.
But this is the thing, mate. It's at the end of the day, overall, I'm disappointed we didn't get anything out of it, but I see the improvements, and that's the key thing. Yeah.
Like I said, disappointing result, but positives for the future. We enjoy this week. I'm excited for the Brentford game. Hopefully we can turn up and listen. We'll see, but there's going to be, I think, a lot to talk about and a lot to review over these couple of weeks of how we've done so far the season and that. So there will be some content out. So check all of that out. But like I said, so, thank you all for watching. One thing left to say. Come on, you irons.
Come on, you irons.
Oh, I've botched it. See, I'm ill. Come on, you irons.